What up? This is July from Kickback Couture, and today we're going to be mixing a track from beginning to end. So, as you know, yesterday we went over the Reason instrument, the new electric bass, a little bit, and I told you we would come back and mix this track. So, now is the time to mix this track. So, I'm going to go from my process beginning to end, so bear with me. I'll try to explain everything as much as possible. And I might go over, something might not come to my mind to mention. So
first thing I do is organize and make sure I got my colors right. So I keep my base up here. It's going to be burgundy, two different colors so that I can separate them from these two up here because they are two separate patterns. If I have them involved, I do have a thick.
I start mixing with my kick. I have a maximizer on my kick so that it outputs at -5 decibels at all times. Why do I do this? I do this so that I have a reference point when I'm mixing my beat so that once all the other sounds are added in, I'm not clipping. So if I have my kick at a low enough level, by the time I add all of my other sounds, I'll still have enough headroom for mastering. And before mastering, you give your beat to an artist. So you want to be able to have headroom in your beat before it gets to the artist so that once their vocals are mixed into your beat, there's still room for their vocals. And once their vocals are mixed into the beat, there's still room for mastering. Cool. So that is why I set my kick up like this. If I play it, let's go somewhere where the kick is located. Okay, so let's go ahead and set our loop points here. And I am mixing in my headphones, so I will stop momentarily and cut out the tutorial so I can check in my monitors. So as you can see, -5 is here. And this is where I set my ceiling, my margin. Some maximizers will say ceiling and some will say margin. You do not have to put a maximizer on your kick. If you rather just have it the way it is, then do what you want to do. But this is how I mix. There are 1,000 ways to do it, and I start with my kick. Next, I have my snare, and we want to start with the clap because that is more paramount to the rhythm than this accent snare. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, let's EQ the clap. I'm gonna take out these low end frequencies. About here. Add the second snare. Same thing. Wrong button. I believe this one plays around this area. Cool. Take out the low end. We don't want the low end because that's where the bass and the kick occupy. They occupy that low end space, as we can see right here. That's where the kick lives. So we want to cut that out so that our kick can punch through properly. Open hi-hat. Gonna turn it down a bit using the input gain up here at the top. The reason we don't want to touch these is proper gain staging. You just want to alter your volume at the source before you change it here. This is more for automation, and like I said, with buses, you can change your buses from there if you need to change an entire group. Although I must admit, Pro Tools busing options are a lot better than Reason's. Live hi-hats. As we can see here, our hi-hats are panned to the right, and that was done in the plugin. So what I want to do is change that. I want it up the middle. Although that is how it is normally played, panned live, I prefer to have it mono. I'm dragging it to my other screen because the screen is too small at this resolution for some reason. Honestly, there's a much easier way to do this. Just pull down the width. Actually, that was the pan. Wrong button. This one right here. Much easier as opposed to doing that there so that you can see what I'm doing. Cool. Now I'm gonna add in my bass. I'll turn it up a bit. And I'm gonna check in my monitors here right now to make sure that this sounds good so far. So I'll be right back. Alright, cool. So I checked it in my mix, and what I did was bring down the bass just a little bit. So now we have this. We don't want the bass to be too loud to override, for example, the snare or, something like that. If it gets played in a club, if it's like a club anthem. If it gets played in a club and they have subs, it's already going to be boosted anyway, and nowadays most stereo systems are built to boost the bass, so you don't want it to be too overbearing. Let's add in the rhythm next. I believe it plays in this section. Yep. I actually want to do something creative with this. Let's go ahead and do some panning with it so that it goes from left to right. I did have revolution on it while I was making the beat. This is a how do I explain this one? Jesus. Okay, so what this does is it's a surround sound plugin, so a rack extension. It can make the sound like it's on the left side, the right side, behind you. I hope you have on headphones to hear this. Can make it sound like it's further away. It's a really dope rack extension. I suggest you try it out. So in addition to this surround sound effect, what I'm gonna do is add Pancake by Cable Guys, which is free. Go look it up on Google. And I'm gonna change the LFO to change about every bar, so it goes from left to right in your ear. It's called ear candy. So that's dope. Gives the mix some life. Turn it down a little bit. Might be the same, whatever. Next thing I'm gonna add is the sample. So with this, we may want to revisit the effects we put on it in the first place. So we're looking at where I cut it at 477 hertz, and then I got it cut at 10.5 kilohertz. And I think that's a good balance. Don't want to cut off too much of the highs. I'm going to check this in my monitors and I'll be right back. Alright, cool. So I checked in my monitors. Everything is good. The next thing we're going to add is the staccato strings, which play here. With this sample, I'm gonna add a filter, an EQ. I'm gonna add a high pass filter. This is what it looks like without it. Which isn't too bad. We just want to be safe and know where it's at. You always want to check your filter. It might be playing frequencies you're not aware of. I'm definitely gonna have to check this in my monitors. This is Chef. Let's get into that last. Let's do the marimba first. Next is the guitar. Turn down the width of the bass. It's already mono anyways, but I just did it anyways. Cool, that's all the sound, so let me go check this in my monitors one more time and then we'll add the final touches. Dope. So I checked out my mix one last time, took a little break, came back to it, which is what I usually do, mix it, take about a 10-minute break, come back with slightly more fresh ears. I don't listen to anything during that time, I just let my ears rest. What I ended up doing was turning down the kick. I felt like the kick was too loud in the mix. So that's where that headroom came in handy, because all the other sounds didn't make it clip once I added them in. And once I turned down my bass, I turned down my kick, I have even more headroom than I did before once we get to the mastering stage. So I did add some distortion to the kick using the distortion parameter in oomph, and I did tube distortion. The drive is at 26% and the dry wet knob is at 14%. So this is what it sounds like without distortion. This is what it sounds like with it. Just gives it a little bit more punch. Without it, with it. Cool. And in context, let's go ahead and play the beat so you hear what we did. That is all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a like, comment, subscribe, and most definitely let me know what you would like to see next. It's all Couture, Kickback, and Cook Up. Backdrops are available on my website. They are labeled in the description box as Trapdrops. Huey is in Trapdrops Volume 1 and Afro Samurai is in Trapdrops Volume 2.